Talofa and welcome into another episode of the 135 Footy Show, proudly part of the WesWes Network. You can go check us out on our website, weswesnet.com. You'll be able to find all our other websites and check us out on all social media platforms as well. Welcome in our co-host, Usos, Stace. Long time, Us. The host of the Counter Rock. Welcome in, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Us. It's been a while. I always know around these times we talk about Origin, if I don't represent New South Wales, I just have to listen to you guys talk shit about my team. So I thought I'd come on and represent the boys this time around.
Faith in now, very balanced arguments on both sides, but the other co-host and where's columnist Simon Amani. How you going, mate?
Sup, also? Good, bro. Yeah, man. My last Stace. Yeah, been pretty good also. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you turn up. I wasn't sure. It might be a bit touch and go this week with you and your connection there over in Aussie. I don't know if we get to the reviews if you'll stick around, but
win or lose, mate. Win or lose, mate. I'm still here.
Yeah, on the group chat, first half you said, yeah, I can't wait for podcast. Second half, you're MIA, mate. What happened there? But we'll talk about that a bit later.
The channel was bringing info on my phone, same like the Broncos second half.
Yes, exactly. Round 10, Women in League round. Very much the story of the weekend, game of two halves. Before we get into all of that, let's kick off with our usual segment. All eyes. Let's start with the good stuff. All eyes on me, your player of the weekend that stood out to you. Dub City in the house. Talo Fatani.
Hello, Bobby.
Gonna miss the opportunity.
Timing, mate.
3 on 1, is it?
Who you going with first, Us?
All right, let's kick off with you, Sal. So, who you got for your all eyes, bro?
All eyes. All eyes. Yeah, bro. Man, there's a couple of guys I want to mention. Latrell was fucking mean drop kick, man. 55, 58 meters out. But this week, Stephen Crichton, man. For Samoa captain, Critter, I thought just his, just him as a captain, bro, he's always been bringing it, especially the last couple of years with the Doggies. But I thought, man, his individual performance in that second half just to spark the, they were 20-0 down, bro, the Doggies, against the Raiders who've been flying, man. And that performance of Critter, bro, just to single-handedly score that first try after half-time, get him on the board, and then that mean break to set up Jamin Salmon for the second try of the Doggies. I just thought that his 10, 15 minutes after half-time, solely, that was responsible for, it just lifted the Doggies, man. Because it was kind of heading towards that. I thought the Raiders was a couple of tries when begging. It's kind of heading towards another Broncos performance where they hit the halftime with a donut. And I think Critter could feel that, bro. So his performance to lift his team, solely. He's my all eyes on me, bro, for this week.
Man, and the Raiders looked like they were in a mood too in that game at GIO. Like, it looked all Raiders on, and I was just like, oh, well, that's a lot of hype. Then the Doggies kind of, another team that's at that next level. It looked like, okay, this is where, when they played the Broncos and now the Raiders. But man, yeah, Critter. Some of the highlights, yeah, just his ability at his age, yeah, just a real captain's knock. Like whatever was said at halftime, that's how you lead a
23,
team. Just take them on your back. Yeah, 23, 24.
23 years old, I think.
Nice call out, Us. Welcome, Bobby. Welcome, Us. You got all eyes for us, bro? Wipe your somos out of your own eyes and then tell us if you got all eyes. We'll come back to you while you sort that out. I'll go to Stace.
Yeah. Bit of a late jump on, but I've gone for something a little bit different. So I know Tama, one of the boys who comes on the pod regularly, he put something in our group chat, and it was a comment made in jest, but I think he actually had a good point. So it's a bit weird seeing a team like the Panthers languishing in sort of wooden spoon category, given they're the 4-time defending champions. But we've spoken ad nauseum about how good their systems are. And now we're seeing the fruits of that extending out towards the wider NRL. So if I look at the top two teams, the Bulldogs and the Warriors, both the coaches are former Panthers assistants, and both the captains, Critter and Fish, who are crucial cogs in the Panthers machine, are now leading those two teams as well. So no, this might be a bit of a bitter pill for Tama to swallow, but the NRL has benefited as a whole from what the Panthers built. So my All Eyes on Me award goes to the Panthers systems for this week, just what they built for the wider NRL. And as a Warriors fan, we're reaping those benefits.
Yes, thank you to the Panthers nursery, their coaching junior system. It's working really well. All the NRL system has seen benefits. Dub City, I think you got things sorted. How's it going there, mate? Yes, New Zealand Sign Language Week is coming up in a few weeks, so if you want to start testing out your skills there, we'll come back to you with your kaya kele.
This is the start of the Warriors slide
we give you the thumbs
down
up.
the ladder has begun with this microphone.
Oh, this guy want to try and use his lines when he can't talk back to you. Okay. All right, Stace, we'll jump back to you with your kaya kele. You pointed a guy like this next to you and say, that guy's kaya kele.
Yeah, technical issues. Always tough to find a kaya kele award. I'm going for something a little bit different again, but I'm looking at the NRL administration. So we had a crackdown on head highs. I heard you guys on the podcast maybe a few weeks back. And then there was this massive outcry. And the NRL, they backed down. And they change their interpretation of the rules. And that creates these inconsistencies. So now the fans don't know what the punishment is for a head high. The refs are constantly changing their interpretations, so they don't really know. And more importantly, the players don't know. So they just start lying down and milking it and seeing what the ref's going to do this week. Is it a sin bin? Is it a penalty? Is it nothing? Who knows? And that's part of where the milking comes from. So if I compare it to rugby union, obviously I do the Counteract podcast. If I compare those two sports, very similar sports, similar in the issues they face around head highs and concussion, but the rules in rugby union are very consistent around head highs. And the players know that they know the rules as well. So they don't feel the need to lie down and try and milk it in rugby union. They know they'll get the right call because the rulings are consistent. So I'd like to see the NRL stick to a set of rules, stick to an interpretation on the head highs, and not back down if there's public outcry. That crackdown they had a couple of weeks ago, they should hold strong and stick to it, like rugby union and stuff.
Yeah.
There was a massive outcry when rugby union changed the rules, and they just said, "Too bad, this is the new rules. You need to change how you play," and they've done that. And now the players know, and there's no milking at all in rugby union because the players know exactly where they stand. So the milking comes from inconsistency, in my opinion. And the only way that changes is if the NRL administration fixes it so they get my kaya kele for the week.
Ooh, that's a big call. I like it though, because you think everyone's going, it makes it a poor spectacle to watch. But yeah, I guess we don't watch as much rugby union as we used to back in the days. But if you're saying you don't get those milking issues, because I saw it, that Storm and Canberra game the week before, and that last hectic 10 minutes, and some of the guys were lying down waiting for that call. So Liero, they missed that one on Hudson, but he thought it was the weekend before where it definitely would have been a sin bin. And Liero got nothing, and they played on, and they didn't call it back. So I like that they didn't call it back, but you're right. Because of the discrepancies, you have teams right up there with 15 and then the Warriors at 3. So the Warriors are doing everything right, training. We keep saying there's accidents in the game, yes, but you can't have that much of a discrepancy and say, this team seems to only have 3 accidents.
Warriors is getting the calls,
and everyone else is having 15, 16.
No.
No. You look at their technique. Like I was saying, there's a very different technique that they do the slow death because it slows the ruck without penalising them by relying on them. And that's a very different technique. It's part of Kaikara Francis.
They actually
do our little training.
They interviewed Andrew Webster in the preseason, and he mentioned that was a crucial thing they were working on, lowering their tackling height because they were wary of the penalties, and that's coming through now. But because they have these crackdowns and then the NRL backs off, the team that wins the ruck normally wins the game. So you don't want to be the coach that says, "Oh, we're going to tackle everyone around the legs," because you'll lose the ruck and you'll more than likely lose the game, potentially lose your job. You'll just say, "We'll keep tackling high, we'll keep doing what we're doing," and the NRL will back down because they don't have the gumption or the fucking stones to stay the course. We'll just keep putting shit out in the media, complaining in the press conferences. Watch the NRL will back down, and they do. The moment they start sticking to it the way rugby union has done, then we'll get more clarity. So that's my award.
Nice perspective, Wolves. How are we going there, Bobby? Dub City, you in the house?
I hope so.
Hey,
It's working.
I don't.
There we go.
There you
Oh,
go.
sorry, mate.
Loud and clear now. All right, we'll double up on you then. You can go your all eyes into your kayakele.
Oh, sweet. What I was miming before was I thought that Sly was going to take my all eyes when he mentioned Latrell, and then he segued off to someone else. But Latrell for me, I thought was the man for Souths against the Broncos. Like that was a really clutch performance for him. He was a bit cheeky at the end, but we'll disregard the try. We'll just call out that 2-point field goal that he took when no one on the field thought that was going to happen. So, Latrell for me, I thought he really stood up for the bunnies in that game. And I don't think the Rabbitohs were given a hope, really, against the Broncos. I might have been jokingly saying that the Broncos were going to lose, but in my head, that was just a dig at Sly. I thought they were going to get wasted by the Broncos, but didn't happen that way. So for me, in the weekend, all ice was
Tell me, what's your opinion on that Latrell try at the end?
The try, man. It's a try.
It was cheeky, bro, but man, for me, you got to play to the ref. But he did look like he was going to take a knee and just wait for the tackle. And then when no one tackled him, he just dived over. Because everyone was just sort of standing there thinking, oh yeah, he's gone down low. And then he was a bit of a cheeky guy and dived over. Why did you not like it?
No, I think
he missed it. I think he was already in bed after the 60th minute.
But I just kind of think about the kind of character this guy is. He's Vaveika at stuff, eh? And he gets rocked up about bullshit little stuff. And I just think if Billy Walters put a shot on him, fuck, he would have lost the plot, bro. You know what I mean? So Billy Walters was just going easy on him. And I just thought it was, I don't know if it was bad sportsmanship, but, if you're willing to act one way, then you kind of have to give it the other way. Like, he's one of these players that he probably would have reacted badly if Walters tackled him.
Guess we'll never know because Walters didn't tackle him.
True.
That to me, that place is more about the Bronx and where they're at. So they had enough opportunities to win. We'll probably do reviews a bit later, but you think about there was that Latrell's getting the award, which is true enough. But you think about Papenhausen got that massive break. That was a great one-on-one tackle.
Yes.
But where's the supporters? No one's following through. Then Dean Mariner gets that other break. One-on-one, a great tackle from Latrell. But where's the support?
We're not reviewing game medals.
It's those 1%ers. They're not there. They're not there, the 1%ers. And that was a classic example of the Broncos just clocking off again. So,
but that's a great
all. Where did you have your fire, mate? Calm down.
Sorry.
All right, Bob, and on the flip side, your Kaya Kele before we come to
Kaya Kele for me, bro, was the whole Tigers team. They were terrible against the Storm. They just offered up nothing. There was no sort of defense. There was, I don't know what the hell happened to the Tigers. I honestly thought, I had a feeling that Storm might win that game. I didn't realize they were going to win it in that fashion because the Tigers, they just bent over, man, and just allowed Storm to do whatever they wanted in that game. And like anything they tried for all their effort, the few players that did try to stand up, like, it just came to nothing. And Luai, I heard stories during the week that he had like family issues or whatever, but I was thinking, man, he didn't show up in that game.
I took a screenshot of that too. So did you catch that before his dad deleted it?
Oh, did you screenshot it?
Nah. I saw the message of his dad. So after the game, the man must have just done those, and he just posted on his thing. get our clause activated. And then he deleted it, like, oh, no.
I was just having a laugh, the old man.
I know. But it's like just causing dramas for us. Like suddenly now people are gonna just call him like,
And causing dramas to one of the players.
The
that
media jump on
causes
it.
enough dramas of his own.
Yeah. You think you put that in front of Dobbo, he jump all over that stuff. Like, yeah. Troubles in the Tigers. First
Yeah,
lucky,
so-
now Luai.
Tigers for me, bro, were the guy killer of the week.
Nice. I before I come to you, Si, I missed my all eyes, but I'll go to my Kayakele was we'll get into the review, but they had Kyle Flanagan. I had I had the Knights. I had the whole Knights team again in their halves mainly. But then I went to Kyle Flanagan. Just that last play, like they got up Clemmer, like got them on a good roll down the middle. And all the experience around them, like Valentine Holmes, everyone was yelling, like, just give them the ball. Like Valentine's like clutch, he's the man. And then he goes left and just bots it, and they get tackled out. So just as, I had Guffo there too. He was a bit of a bot. But yeah, just over the last few weeks, just losing the way as the leader. You know, he's got to own that team. So yeah, Kayakele is going to Flano, unfortunately. So we'll see. Maybe they'll get it on this week and finally figure it out. Hopefully. Should be good. That'll be great if they get up against the Broncos. Si, your all eyes. Your Kayakele, sorry.
Kayakele. Bob stole my thunder there. I throw in the Broncos second half performance against the Bunnies, but I'm going to go with the Tigers as well because obviously the scoreline, but bro, I had a mean multi going, right? And I picked a fucking big score against the Tigers. But Pappy came in for a double, which I got. Katoa come in, and the Storm's wingers, they didn't even need to kick for Fa'alongo or Coates, bro. That's how Gaia the Tigers were. The Storm's wingers didn't even score. 64 points to 0, and fucking Coates doesn't score, Fa'alongo doesn't go score. That killed me, man. I had a good return on that. But yeah, thanks, Tigers.
Nice. Unfortunate there on your multis, like we always say, mate, gamble responsibly. Comments corner. So not much coming out, but we had a little comment last week, Bobby, when we were talking about what is $1 million player worth. You know, what should you expect? You mentioned like a premiership, and we were talking about what or you were explaining like what you see Papenhausen, that effort. And Jay also, I don't know if it's a bit too technical, he's like, you're comparing a middle forward to an edge player. But I guess it's that attitude, like Cams was saying offline before we jumped on. Like, I think it's more what you're explaining, like it's you're comparing what you expect from a guy who's on $1 million. You go hard, like, yeah. But yeah, that was the only comment that came out there. I don't know if you had anything to clarify that a bit, what you were explaining between Haas and Fafita.
Or was it a comment to something I said?
Yeah, just that about Papenhausen and Fafita. Just kind of the way, Tino's not turning up for the team, putting in, everything, going hard.
Oh, I think you touched on it. It's effort. Like, Payne is effort on effort every week in, week out. And then you look at someone like Fafita on the money that he's on at the Titans, and you don't see that same effort. It's quite inconsistent on the games where he is putting in a bit of effort. You could easily say that he's the equal of Papenhausen with his impact. But I think also my comment was around how Papenhausen does the bread and butter stuff of a front row forward, and Fafita doesn't really do bread and butter stuff of an edge forward. The guy's trying to do flashy plays to try and get his team up, but he doesn't do the bread and butter stuff first. He's trying to do that flashy play that's 50-50 at best, and then a lot of the time it doesn't come off. But then the majority of the time you see him on the field, when he's switched off, like I said, he's like the Dylan Brown of the forward version of Dylan Brown, where he's just like a spectator, like he just watches the game sort of happen around him when he gets the ball instead of trying to break tackles. He just goes down. It's like, this guy, every carry that Papenhausen carries is like he's trying to throw guys around. He's looking around to see if anyone's running off him, and you don't see that consistently from Fifita. So I thought it was apples and apples, like money wise, but yeah, like I don't know. You get guys like that who are on that kind of high tier money, then they sort of get it, and then they start expecting them to continue to have that kind of money moving around to other clubs and that, but they've done nothing to show at the club that they are in at the moment to say that they're worth it. So Fifita, like Tino definitely is worth it. Fifita's not. Yeah.
Nice. Thanks, Wolves, for clarifying that. Hey, off the back of that, Si, you had another comment off around players, like how much access did fans get to them? You know, they do a lot of time out there. You know, they have their training sessions, you know, time with the players. After the game, they have time with the players. But you saw a little clip that kind of raised that question, you know, when's the right time,
Bro,
and how much FaceTime should be given?
Yeah, man. I think we're living in an age where fans get the best access from any professional athlete. But you know, with the NRL, with social media, where a lot of players have all these social media platforms, players vlog stuff. We as fans, we're getting into you know, a lot of personal spaces of people, of these guys. So we're quite lucky, man. And they have, you know, clubs put on fan days where members can get up close and personal. So when it comes to time where you see teams or players out in the public, and in this case, you know, the Tigers were at the airport, some random stranger, some fan, middle-aged man comes trying to get selfies off players. And a couple of the players there, Luai and Rossi Hunt, politely said no to this guy. Or, you know, Luai was on the phone. Who knows? He could be talking to his kids, his family. Rossi Hunt was eating, but I don't think he was rude, but he just straight up said nah. And I just think people are well within their rights to say, yeah, nah. You know, especially for selfies, you know what I mean? It's different when a fan goes up to a player and goes, oh, hi, I just want to say hi. I'm a big fan, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, people just go up and just do a little 2-second selfie. That's quite selfish, bro. That's for them. Hey, that's for them to feel show on their own accounts or show their workmates at the water cooler on a Monday. Oh, look who I met. So I just bring it up because a lot of fans are blasting Luai. Oh, fuck, he can't even give 2 seconds of his time to the fans who pay good money. So, nah, bro, there's a time and there's a place.
Yeah.
And I think you should respect.
But that's the thing. Your time and the place is when you pay the good money.
Yeah, that's it. And as long as a player just respectfully says, nah, I don't want to. It's different. I think it's different if it's a 6-year-old boy wanting to get an autograph or a picture. Yeah. Hey, you know, grown-ass man trying to harass players in their own spare time. Like,
Bob, leave them alone, man.
But that was all, bro. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think, like, it's like WWF wrestlers? Did these guys have to be in character and talk to the fans 24/7 because they're on big money, or not? Or you know, you still have your private time, right?
I don't know, Bob. What do you expect? What's his name, Mark Hamill, to do when you see him out in public? Hey man, can you show me the force? Can you move that rock over there?
I guess side touching it with the social media thing, like, because there's now so much access to players and athletes and things these days compared to back in the 90s and the 80s and the early 2000s. You know, people are now expecting that access is 24/7. You know, they get to listen to their vlogs, their podcasts, all of that sort of stuff, watch them on TV, see them live at games. And now people have this expectation where they can think that it's all good to just go up because these guys already have put themselves out there on social media and everywhere else and every other sort of platform. You know, and then I think social media, like I said that other week, you live and die by it. And I think, you know, there's it's a double-edged sword. It can free promotion. It can give you a massive platform for people to hear you. But then it exposes you as well. Like it gives you that exposure, and then you think, okay, now I can sit down at a restaurant and eat, and then this is what Simon's thinking, and along comes Blastock and puts him on blast for something that he said on the Wednesday once before our Footy Shit podcast. I was like, sorry, I'm eating breakfast here with my family. Yeah, but, I don't care that you're eating breakfast with your family. I'm going to tell you what I think. It's the day and age we live in. Like, yes, there's a privacy thing, but it's just an unfortunate consequence now these days of being not a celebrity, but you're a well-known public figure, and it's just an unfortunate side effect of being that well-known public figure that people are going to come up to you any time of the day and expect you to be the Jerome Luai guy that's just going to take selfies. It's real different these days. I've seen celebrities you talk about, they don't mind doing the just signing whatever. Signatures are all good, but the photographs are the ones where, they're having these phones sort of shoved in their face and they're like, shit, this is going to go online and I've got bottles sticking out of my nose and they're still going to take a selfie and it's like, shit. So it's a double-edged sword. I agree with Si though, like there is a time and place for that sort of stuff. It's just the unfortunate consequence of the fact that these guys are public figures now. And then this, now you've seen the consequence of it, because he's politely said no. And now someone else has got an opinion about the boys saying no. And it just carries on. The circus just continues. Yeah, Stace, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree with you. You boys are right on the money. Like, they're still human beings at the end of the day. Like, you think if that we were in that same, wearing those shoes. Like, I would hate to be eating my breakfast somewhere and someone just shoves a phone in my face saying, come and have a photo. I'm pretty antisocial at the best of times, so that would just be horrible for me. But, you're right, Bob. This is the modern world. Like, you're expected to be there 24/7 now. The internet just never quits. So, everyone has an opinion, everyone has a phone, everyone has access to you in some way, shape, or form. And there's positives and negatives for both of those things. So, I know a lot of people, a lot of the players and stuff, they've got their own platforms, they've got their own podcasts that never used to happen back in the day, their own social media going, which they can make money out of. So there's all these other revenue streams which didn't exist back in the day. But the flip side is the access that the public has to you. So you sometimes just one of those negative things that comes with the modern day rugby league player. And I feel for them in a lot of ways because some of them just can't even go out in public anymore. Like you think about back in the days when before that you could see some All Blacks or someone out at the bar or whatever, and stuff, hanging out, just being normal people outside of the game. And that's almost non-existent now. So, it's hard to be a player in the modern world, but it's just the world we live in. So I actually am siding with the players. I don't think that they should have to give a selfie just because someone shoves a phone in their face. So I'm all right with the players saying no. I know there's people have other opinions to that, but I'm a bit old school, I guess. So I'm sort of siding with the players on that one.
Yeah, and to Sai's point too, like that selfie as well. Like a lot is a bit selfish, like an autograph or like an actual, like a conversation. Because when you go and show, like, like, what's he like? Oh, I don't know. Talk to him. I just took a photo. Yeah, so I think for the players' sake, like they want, like if you're gonna waste my time, at least tell me your name, come and say something, not just take a photo and put it on your page and act like you actually met me. So yeah, I think I agree. I side with the players, and especially when it's like an adult, like it's just like if it's a kid, they'll probably give a second. So everyone to jump on it like these players aren't giving especially they're trying to put like a position like, how about if it's a kid, like, well, I'm sure it'd be different, but it's some old man just coming like, hey, I want a selfie. So of course, like, nah, bro, having a feed. So yeah, aligned on that. All right, nice boys. Hey, 2 weeks out this time, in a couple of weeks, a fortnight out. the game 1 of State of Origin kicks off. I see Stace, you're already ripping. I see you already got your colours out. Dusted it off, I see. So yeah, I pulled up a couple of teams. Everyone's got a say on it, so I thought we'd just start with these as a base, and then we can kind of say who else we probably would have put in there, in order to come up with a 1-3-5 New South Wales and Queensland team. Since these high majority of us, let's go with the New South Wales team, and put that Woodsy team there, Stace. So he's got Dylan Edwards playing at fullback. I don't know, like for myself, I think Teddy's been better, but your thoughts? I don't know if there's anyone else in the mix.
Yeah, I think, you got to remember Edwards was man of the match in Game 3 last year, and they won that series. So I know Teddy played Game 1, which they lost, and then Edwards played the next 2, which they won. So I know it's hard to just say, the change of fullbacks was a crucial reason why, but I am sort of one of those guys who likes to show a bit of faith to the team that won it. And if I look at some of the other members in the spine, which I'm going to pick, there's a real Panthers-esque type feel to it. So Edwards is part of that system. If I think about, the great Queensland sides, you think about it was Slater, Smith and Cronk.
Great.
Them together, and they could just fall into their shapes at any point and any time. And if you think Edwards, I'm assuming Cleary's going to be there. For me, I don't want to get too far ahead of our picks, but I'm looking at guys like Luai and all the rest. You think Yo will definitely be there. They can just do some of their Penrith stuff, and he doesn't have to worry about where I need to be and all the rest of it. He can just fall into his shape. So that gets it a bit over the line, because Teddy has been in good form, but Edwards' combinations and the fact he won it last year holds a bit more sway. So I'm sticking with Edwards.
Nice. Bobby, Sai, show some care, boys. Act like you actually care about who's going to be in this position.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tom. I think Tedesco is probably one of the form fullbacks. He's probably the better form out of all those New South Welshmen. I think Papenhausen would probably be the more dangerous fullback, probably attacking wise, but like you guys touched on, I think they'll go with Dylan Edwards, which is funny because I think both Teddy and Papenhausen are playing better than what Dylan Edwards, but purely based on the connections and he's the incumbent, they'll probably go with Edwards because I think there's enough strike that they don't really need someone like Papenhausen, but he would be lethal, man, just backing up guys like Papenhausen, because I think definitely they'll have a bit of size up front. But yeah, they're going to go with the tried and true, boring as Dylan Edwards, bringing it back, and hopefully rely on Cleary to give them some potency up there. So that I think that's like the Dylan Edwards selection would be based on having Cleary there at 7. Otherwise, I would say Papenhausen, man.
Bobby?
Yeah, I agree with Sai. I really liked Papenhausen in the last few games for the Storm. But he's never featured in any of the equations, eh? Like it's always been the talk between Teddy and Dylan Edwards. But Paps hasn't. He's like looking at this team. He's not even in the 18s. So I'm like, wow, what does Paps have to do to get a look in? Like, I know Dylan Edwards is the man at the moment, and Teddy has been playing super hot this year, trying to reclaim his jersey. But Papenhausen has been outstanding for the Storm this year. I know it's all about fit and combinations, and I tend to agree with Stace that's the reason why Dylan Edwards is there, is because all of that Panthers stuff. But if you look at where the Panthers are at the moment on the table, like their combinations haven't really been gelling this year. So is it going to translate into the Origin Arena, and are they going to bring the
Possibly
championship Panthers form, or is it going to be their NRL form 2025? Because they're hanging their hat on the fact that this Panthers combo Yeah, and you chuck in guys like Critter and that who've been part of that Panthers
true.
combinations as well. That's what they're sort of relying on. But the Panthers have been rubbish this year, and I don't know. Like, is it going to be one of those ones where Origin comes along and they just flip the script and play out of their skins? Like, Origin's a different beast when it comes to league games compared to regular NRL. So maybe they will. Like, they've even chucked Turbo in there, and I'm thinking, shit, that guy's been super average at Manly, injury prone, like hardly any games this year and last year. So there's a lot of guys in here on reputation. And I don't know if Madge is going to be that coach this year, picking guys on reputation. It's going to be
see Papenhausen game 2.
It's Laurie Daly,
After
Laurie
Blues
Daly's
lose
got
game
the-
1.
I think Papenhausen is. You're right. He's done nothing wrong. He might need to do something like Greg Inglis, like be from New South Wales, but pretend he's a Queenslander. Then he'll get a game because he ain't getting from New South. He's like third or fourth choice for us, but he'll be the best player in your team. So that might be the only way he gets into Origin.
Okay. Brian To'o, anyone disagree with Brian To'o? I think that's locked.
That's a lock shooing.
Yeah, right. Your centre, Latrell, your left edge, you're going Latrell. His name's there after this performance on the weekend. Stace?
Yeah. After that game, he sewed it up.
I don't know who else is there. Oh, Bess Bradman. He's been
Bradman
setting nothing on fire. He's been rubbish. I don't know.
Lomax.
Is he gonna get unlocked for this game? Is he?
You know,
I hope they go with Bradman.
I hope so.
The issue with Latrell Mitchell, and I've heard Bob, I've heard you talk about this quite a bit when you look at it, what he does with South, where he'll be do something amazing, and then you won't see him for like sort of 10 minutes. He'll just be missing in action. So that's sort of my big concern with Latrell Mitchell is like if he doesn't do his, if he's sort of mucking around, it's all right if the wingers are doing extra work. So if you've got To'o and Lomax from last year, they're able to do their 20 hit-ups or whatever, you can carry someone like Mitchell who won't do that dirty work, but he'll come up with some great plays. The issue that I've got is To'o, he's underdone. He played his first game last week. The Panthers got a bye this week. Lomax is playing his first game this week. So I'm all right with Latrell Mitchell as long as they get a workaholic winger on his side to do the work that he's not going to do. Yeah. So, and that's my concern. To'o's underdone. Lomax is underdone. And if you've got those guys in and then Latrell Mitchell isn't pulling finger, which he doesn't, then there's a lot of underdone guys and lazy guys in there.
Well,
so I'm picking Mitchell, but I want under the caveat that there's a workhorse outside him who's fit. And so it's a big weekend for guys like Lomax, and I'm not sure where To'o's at, to be honest, even though he'd be automatic if he's fit. So that's there's a caveat there for Mitchell.
Number 4 locked, Stephen Crichton, right side centre. After what we saw last week, I feel like it's all locked.
Yeah.
Tommy Turbo on the wing. You got to have him in the team. So you chucked him out on the wing. You're right with that?
I'm not picking him on my team.
Oh,
he's underdone. To'o's underdone. Lomax is underdone. I don't want, and Mitchell can be a passenger at times, and I don't want too many underdone passenger type guys. So I will opt
Daniel
for
Tupou back in there.
Carraz.
Oh, Carraz. Oh, I thought you going back to Daniel Tupou.
Got a good combination together.
Carraz, yeah, man. Him and Critter.
Him and Crichton work good together, and Carraz has got that workaholic rate that I like. So you think about when New South Wales won it last year, their back five just ran crazy meters, and that was a crucial part of their team. So Carraz, because he's fit.
A little bolter, eh?
I've got a one bolter.
Bro, Lomax was your best player last year.
I would pick him if he had a bit more time. I'd pick him if he had more time. This week's his first game back for like 6 weeks. So he's just underdone. That's his only issue for Lomax. Otherwise, I'd pick him. So Carraz.
Right, 6 and 7. You happy with those? 2 7s?
Nope, I'm not.
No? Who you bringing in at 6?
I'm bringing Luai in. I'm going the Panthers connection.
Or
you
you're keeping
think-
both the Panthers connection. If you bring in Luai, it has to be Cleary.
Luai and Cleary, I'm going for them too. I'm building my team around the fulcrum of my team is going to be around the Panthers and therefore premierships. And Luai I like because, you think Cleary and Moses are both right-sided guys. They're both organising guys. So it's good to have someone like Luai who mixes it up a bit. He's a bit of X-factor and he's a left-sided guy. And he's okay with being the second guy as well. You think both.
I see your alignment.
Cleary
You
and
like
Moses are
to
dominant.
acknowledge how the NRL's doing better with all of the Panthers necessary, and now you want to bring them back together. So you still believe in it. I see that.
I've got a common theme in
You're
my-
keeping consistent in your. I like it. Nice work.
Hey,
there,
let me know if
Stace.
you guys are disagreeing with any of my selections as well, because I know that it's.
I don't think
well, you
anyone
guys
cares,
already
man.
resigned to
We
the
don't
fact
care.
it's 3-0.
We don't care.
No, I'm glad
We don't care.
you put up Lloyd. Because I thought he probably won you guys the series last year with that break to set up best. But over here at the moment,
I agree.
fuck it, every single person I hear on commentators or past players and shit don't have him in the halves, man. They're all
doing
in love
this?
with Mitch Moses.
Are they doing this? Racist.
Yeah.
Racist, man.
See, I agree with that.
But I don't know
that
why,
the
bro.
majority are going the Luai. But
You
it's
know
just-
why.
okay.
Yeah,
We all
he
know
definitely
why.
deserves. I don't think he has paid out of his jersey.
Definitely not. Like, yeah, after last week, maybe he's, but it's not like, but Mitch Moses showed his head and heels over the rest of those Eels players. He's definitely elite.
Yeah, of the
What he's done
Eels,
since he's come back. Yeah, exactly.
that's what I don't get. Is like there's all this talk around Dylan Edwards and Teddy. And aside from that game where the Tigers got flogged by the Storm, Luai's been super consistent this year. But he's not in anyone's conversations. I don't.
Yeah, I know.
Well, even Trindle, people were
I
pushing
don't get
Trindle
it.
as well. So, and Trindle's been good, but yeah, I guess they still want to stick with 2 sevens. I don't care. All right, your forwards, Stace. We'll let you carry on.
I thought Trindle was Queensland.
Papenhausen lock. You guys.
Yeah. He's one of the
nice.
first guys. He's automatic, so that's an easy one. I think you won't get much disagreement from anyone. I think everyone's got Haas in their team somewhere.
Reece Robson. He's come back. He's been okay since for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I like Reece Robson. I think what he does well is he's a really good defender through the middle. He's got good distribution as well. So you think I want Cleary to be the main guy, and you've got Yo doing a bit of ball playing and Luai. So from the hooker, all I'm looking for is those attributes: good distribution and good defense. So I know there's been some calls for guys like Wade Egan.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
Just style-wise, he ball plays too much, and I want Cleary to be the main focal point of the attack. So I just want distribution from the hooker and defense. So Robson fits that better.
I don't know what Woodsy's or Josh King. Like, I think it's just his mate. He just wanted to put him on the list. You want Josh King in your team? Are you happy with that?
I
Some
didn't
more
even know who
doggies?
there is.
Gerald May.
No.
Yes, I agree, Bob. But Stace?
Jeremy, no, not Jeremy, man.
No, not yet. Not
To me,
yet.
he got exposed. I think. Si, you brought up a good point about how, when they got wasted by Melbourne, the wingers didn't score any tries; they just ran straight through them. And I saw some deficiencies in Terrell May's game, which tells me that he's not quite ready for that next step up. So he's had an outstanding season, but I'm overlooking him. Mitch Barnett from the Warriors
game.
is my guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's not ready. He's not ready for the next step. Mitch Barnett.
Mitch Barnett, that's all the way over here in New Zealand. Leave him alone, bro. It's like, might as well just go.
I don't know what Aaron Woods
Mitch
is on.
Barnett's got better
Like,
things to be doing, man.
Barnett should be starting at prop, and how are you going to leave Yo on the bench and not start at 13? That's where it should be. Barnett's been ripping up fucking leg speed for the Warriors, man.
Yeah, we'll get to the Warriors. Or 11, 12, 13. You going to swap out Yo? Because you bought Mitch Barnett in. The other two, you been happy with Angus this year?
He hasn't been great. I know Hudson Young's had a great year.
Yeah.
So I might opt for Hudson Young with Liam Martin, which is harsh because I know Crichton was player of the series. But I just going to go with the hot hand. So I'm going Martin.
But Young's been mud at Origin.
Yo. It's hard on him, mate. I don't know if he's a good bench impact guy. He's one of those guys similar to a lot of these other back rows, where the longer they play, the better they get, whereas he's being used sort of 10, 15 minutes off the bench.
Yeah,
which
he's
I'm not sure
too
suits
hot. I think
his
he's
style.
it's too wired to come in for Origin. He's like next level, and then he's all right. Your interchange. You've had a few changes. Perhaps make your bench.
I want to find a spot from he's that good. I think I agree with you, but I can't. So Connor Watson covers more positions for injuries, and he can probably sub Robson at hooker. So his utility value gets him the role at 14. I've gone for Spencer. He was good. He was a real impact player last year, and he suits that role, that bench impact forward. 15. At 16, I've gone a bit weird as well. I've gone Jake Trebojevic. I'm giving him a recall. I think
not his captain, though. He loses the captaincy. He just becomes a workhorse.
He's a good team guy. I think he brings a lot of work ethic and all the rest of it, and team spirit. And
that's a mud fucking interchange. Yeah. If you're gonna have just a turbo, you should start prop as your captain.
No way.
Camaraderie, just will fill the bench.
No way. We'll probably bamboozle you, name him at 16, and then start him, and your whole game plan's all ruined. So.
And who's running?
He's going to be one of these.
Angus.
You going with a back? You going with a back?
Series. No, Angus Crichton, who was player of the series last year.
He
holds at 17.
Nice. Yeah, not too shabby. Not too shabby team. I don't think there's that'll be
dangerous
a dangerous team,
man.
If they pull it together. Yeah. Qraz, I like that. I like Qraz. That's a big core, no turbo.
Yeah. It's just because there's too many guys who are questionable, like Lomax and or who are underdone, and I think Turbo's underdone. And I'm picking Latrell Mitchell, who doesn't have the work ethic, so I can't carry that many under work ethic guys in the back five. So he misses out.
It's tough being a New South Welshman in this new age.
It is tough.
One series, all of a sudden, can't make the team. It's hard, mate. All right. Let's head over the ditch over into Queensland State. We've gone with Corey Parker's Queensland Game 1 team. We'll do the same thing. Boys, Ponga, Reece Walsh. We're talking about underdone. He's not Bob's favourite person, obviously. Bob, a real distaste for the way he's playing it. I think it's just his maturity. So I think his injuries probably rule him out. Ponga, anyone else? I don't know. You guys happy with Hammer in the centres? Ponga, I think just because
all they got.
Guy got by. Yeah, and that's the other thing.
Even if Walsh was available, he wouldn't even be in the conversation, man. But if we had if there was like better options for centre, I would probably really prefer Hammer at the back. I think it's a bit more dangerous. I think Pong is really struggling because of his team, but maybe Origin can bring out the best in him. But yeah, bro, Pong is going to sew up that fullback position. But I really hope Hammer gets a bit of a chance to roam around and hit the back line, get the ball in space.
What about someone like Robert Toya from the Roosters, or that Jackson Purdue maybe? Or what about that Shibasaki? He's been going all right.
No to all those three.
It's a good time. It's a good time to experiment. Why not?
Maybe if it was a dead rubber and we've already won the series, maybe
it'll be dead rubber day 3.
We'll do that in game 2. We'll do that in game 2. Just muck around.
Robert Toya will be lifting up the shield in about 3 years, maybe.
The reserve grade on the weekend, so I don't know if he'll be how long he's going to be out. If he's available, you guys happy with Coates? He's such an aerial attack.
Yeah, I'm happy with Coates. I agree with Si though. We've really got limited options at centre, like in terms of tried in the Origin arena. Guys that have been, they've been in that fire. And again,
Kurt Capewell's been doing a job at centre.
You know what? Capewell has.
He's tried in that fire. Stacey's got a big grin. He's like, yes, do it. For the centre. But we need him for the Warriors, so it's all right. I'd rather him playing for the Warriors.
But yeah, like Si, I don't want Hammer to get stifled playing centre and just doing lots of defence and hit ups that aren't gonna expose his talent when he's in open spaces. Like, he's similar to, who can I compare him to from New South? I suppose it's similar to Turbo playing in the centres. You want him coming from the back when Turbo was healthy, when Turbo was like the number one fullback guy back in the days.
Instead of,
hard out. Back when Turbo was fit, healthy, he was the man coming from the back. Same with Hammer. I don't know, because we don't have that many options. Yes, there are players that could probably fill in that do play centre, but I don't know. Also with that Ponga one, like Cobbo too can play fullback. Yeah, it's a good headache to have, but you don't want your players getting injured a couple of weeks out from Origin, and they're your only sort of go-to wing options. There's gay guy that you could bring in.
Philip Sami got a double last week.
Yeah, Sami.
Tried and tested. You said
Jojo
from that West Queensland team of all time. Hello, West Queensland team of all time, and they lifted the shield. Sami was there, bro.
So yeah,
No
true.
comment.
All right, let's go. How's the song up? You guys happy? You don't want to see Darren starting? You happy with these two? Lock and lock.
Nah, yeah, that's a lock. This DCE been playing pretty quiet lately, but this kicking game,
Just
we
pull
need
the
this kicking
trigger.
game, bro.
Just pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Sorry, so you got any comments these days? You just
Yeah, you need his kicking game because you're going to be hard to get out of your own try line. I mean, kicking it out from anywhere. But you guys skipped past. Sorry, I'm just looking at the team. Cobbo. He's you guys holding Cobbo on that other wing? Just looking at Corey Parker's team because I know that that Cowboys guy Taulangi has often been in a lot of these teams. So is that definite, Cobbo?
Nah, Cobbo's been playing awesome at the back.
Cobbo out at
And
the moment, yeah.
And he'll do a lot of dog work too. Eh?
Well, and that's the thing. So Stace raises a good point because you could put Taulangi and move Cobbo in, and then you can have someone else at the back and not Ponga. If you want to.
Oh yeah, that'll work. Cobbo to centre, Hammer to fullback. Taulangi on the wing.
Taulangi on the wing.
No, I don't like that combo at all. I think Holmes and Tabuafido is pretty good experienced centers.
In the center, yeah. It's just options on options. That's a big call, though. You're right to leave Taulangi out because the form he's been coming into with the Cowboys, and you see that, like Bob was talking about, with other players, like that effort. Like a lot of the games where the Cowboys have been getting out, Taulangi's been putting his hand up to do those hard carries. So yeah, I guess like you lose nothing with Cobbo bringing those hard carries, and what Cobbo's been doing for Bronx, I'm happy with Cobbo as well. All right, into the forwards. Horsburgh, brah. Yeah, are you guys happy with him starting? Bring him off the bench.
Oh,
who else do
you know what? If Connor was playing every game, right? If Connor was not underdone and not injured, I'd start Connor and have Horsburgh off the bench. Horsburgh, he can be fucking devastating and bots in the same set, but if he can calm down his offloading, bro, he's a really good change up because Tino's probably top 2-3 props. He can play fucking straight up the middle, or he can play feet. Late footwork, or he's got good skills off his hands. Horsburgh is more of he's really unorthodox, bro. He's really good off his feet. He likes to get he likes to get from A to C defender and step out wide. But it's, I don't know. Origin is a different kettle of fish, and that first 5-10 minutes of Origin's all fucking, it's like a held on lunchtime, on the tennis court, bro. It's crash and bash. So ideally I'd like to see him come off the bench if I was to pick the team.
Bobby?
Yeah, I agree. Like, to be honest, I'd rather have Collins in there if he wasn't injured, if he hasn't He has hardly played at all, Lindsay Collins. But because Corey's been there for the Raiders at the moment, he's probably a shoo-in to start. I wouldn't have Tino as the prop, though. I prefer him at lock. And Kerrigan, I'd push him up into prop. Because to be honest, he's just been prop-like at the Broncos, and he hasn't really done anything that he did when he debuted for the Maroons a few years back. He was the man, and he got like player of the series or man of the match in that debut game of his. But I haven't really seen that from Kerrigan this year at all at the Bronx. He's been real. He's carried. He does what Papenhausen does, similar sort of high meter carries and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. You'd need someone who's been a bit more dynamic. I think Tino is more dynamic at lock than Kerrigan is at the moment. I'd switch those two around. Grant's probably a shoo-in. He's one of the first names you probably put there. Yeah, Cotter's been playing all right though. But again, you want these guys hitting the ground running, which is why I think Corey Hosber's name's in there, because he's been doing the job at the Raiders. But like Slice says, that guy's got to calm down and just concentrate on the bread and butter stuff, and none of these 50-50 offload plays that might not pay off at origin level. Those are real risky, man.
Yes, that point about Kerrigan, we'll probably touch on it when we get to the Broncos game. Have you liked him at prop? You like him in the middles? Because
I think
he's been mud compared to when he was at lock.
I think this is the biggest bot selection that Madge has done with the Broncos this year. Is that Kerrigan? He can fucking ball play, man. He's awesome at 13, but we haven't seen it. He's been taking the first. It's been Haas, and then it's been Kerrigan, and I think Kerrigan comes good when he's that link on the fourth tackle, when he's kind of like releasing on those back plays, his halves, and that's kind of counter towards the real. We'll touch on it a little bit later, but Broncos just seem a bit. I don't know. I think he's wasted at prop. I don't know.
I'd rather just
Bobby.
He brings nothing at lock, but yeah.
Yeah, Henderson's just straight up and down. But just to the point about the team, I think we need up front, bro, because Papenhausen, man, he's gonna bring it, and he's the shining light of the Broncos. He has not had a bad game, and with him and the size in that I kind of presume that the New South Wales are going to go with.
South Wales, yeah.
We just need that size up front with Tino, and like I said, Tino's got the ability to play to 13. He's better 13 than what Kerrigan is at prop. I think it's just Kerrigan's just a little bit wasted at prop. But yeah, it's not too much difference. But I just think maybe with Kerrigan ball playing at lock, they can open up. I think the way Billy Slater's going to go, what we've gone similar team the last 2 years, is play a little bit more wider and play more footy.
Stace says New South Wales was the worst front that you want to see.
I'm going to side with Bob on that one. If I'm looking at some of these stats, at Kerrigan, he's first in the whole NRL for most runs, and he is, I think he's fourth for post-contact meters in the whole comp. Fifth, sorry. So he's all right with doing that grunt work.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for him to just roll the sleeves up, but man, you can rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic any way you like, man. They're still destined to sink in a sea of blue from New South Wales, mate.
Practicing that metaphor, brother.
Cotter, Tino, Kerrigan, those are the middle three. Tino and Kerrigan will definitely be starting in that middle three. So lock and prop, there's not much difference these days. Depends on how you like to play, I guess.
Nice. Boys, the middle, the edges, we got Ngangai and Sua. You guys happy? Anyone else that you guys would rather bring in? Nanai's only he got dropped after game one.
Nanai deserves a spot with his form. I think the other it will probably be right
Guy
side
Australia
back
a couple of
rower.
weeks ago.
That's up in the air, man. I don't think Sua's fucking mean in the Origin Arena, like doing the tough stuff. Got a good hit on him, but fuck. But then who else you got, man? People have been mentioning Fimore. He's been strong in the Titans. That he's fucking kept Fafita out.
Fafita, yeah.
But
Cohen
then
Hess has
it's a
come
bit
back
cool. You gotta
okay.
give him a debut, eh?
He's been going all right.
Jaiari.
Yeah, Jai.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably
I like Fremont. I think
I'd go
Fremont's
with
good.
Suar myself.
You start with Saw.
I'll start with Suar and I have him
to,
on the bench. I like his bench.
Yeah, I'd probably start with Jaden too.
What about Gilbert? Any love for Tom Gilbert from the where is he from? From the Dolphins?
Dolphins, yeah, I don't know. Is he
Well, he's on the bench in
hasn't really
this
stood out
team.
for the Dolphins yet. Yeah.
Oh,
Was he
yeah,
injured
okay.
at the beginning? So he's coming back. So he's in there. That bench. Benny Hunt falls out of the 17. You happy to go with Dearden? Dearden has to be there somewhere. Or are you happy to get Ben Hunt? Well, Ben Hunt injured now, so I doubt he's in doubtful game one, which is good
Benny
for us
Hunt's
because that
done
makes that decision
so
easier.
much for Queensland over the years. But it comes to a point eventually where these guys just age out, man, and you got to get the younger version of Ben Hunt and Tommy Dearden in there. So, he offers a little bit more than Ben Hunt. And I just feel like, sorry, Ben Hunt, this is probably the curtain call on your Origin career this year. We saw it with Dane Gagai last year, and I'm sure that guy's trying to play his ass into the team and to factor into someone's calculations.
He needs to leave the Knights if he wants to resurrect his Origin career.
Yeah,
that's what that guy needs to do. Anyone else on that bench? I like Purdue. I think he may move into the 18 now. I don't know. We'll get to Ben Hunt's injury. How bad that is. It's his first hamstring ever, apparently. I didn't even know the injury with Collins, if he's due back. I haven't been watching the Roosters, so I know how far away he is if he's going to get some games under his belt.
Yeah, he's named this week, so he's pretty much got this one game to prove himself.
It's enough. That's all he needs. I want the Roosters to get up and this guy to have a mean game. Nice. Any call outs, Stace? Any bolters? Anyone surprised not to see some names in there?
I've got Kurt Mann. I like Kurt Mann from the Bulldogs.
Doggies.
I think he's good. He provides a point of difference. Like if you think of all the middles, they got Tino and Carrigan and all these guys. They got heaps of big dudes. He's that fast leg speed guy who can come off the bench and provide a real spark. Yeah, so I quite like Kurt Mann as a point of difference. And plus, the Bulldogs top of the table, and he's a crucial part of that. So he can ball play a little bit through the middle as well, which I like. He's just a different style of player. So I would consider him as sort of a 15, 20-minute circuit breaker type of guy. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Yeah, sounds like a bit of sabotage. All good. Nice, boys. I think we got a wrap on the 135 footy show teams. Fortnight from now. So maybe we'll do a reaction one instead of an episode in a fortnight. We'll just record after the game. We'll see if Stace turns up, if you can connect on that. Cheers, boys. All right, let's get into our reviews. Actually, speaking of a lot of that Broncos game, we finally get to break it down. So, mate, I think that's the weekend, though. Like, a lot of teams in control at the start. And then just faded away. You guys couldn't hold on. I don't know. A lot of that, I don't know if there's an underlying thing or if Adam Reynolds just wants to go back to the Rabbits. Some of the stuff he was doing was just obviously kaya, man.
I don't think Reynolds had a flash hot game, man. It was just like the week before. But we shouldn't really be relying on one man's performance. But I keep barking on, like, when they try and they're trying to fucking win their games from big plays instead of just grinding teams and doing the basics, man. And if you look on paper, man, the Bunnies should never have got close, man. and they were missing a lot of players. And up 14-0. Yeah, like a couple things. Their attack just turned to shit, man. There's something wrong on attack. It's really either rocks or diamonds. What's going on at the moment? But I would prefer, like, they're opening up teams quite easy, bro, because like athletically it's fucking pretty strong, fast team. They can create opportunities. But I just thought there was some really dumb plays and a couple of instances there where the Bennett broke through and there was a second or third tackle, man, and
Yes.
and I really, it's cool to have the confidence to try to take on fucking your fullback, but man, I really thought maybe that was crucial, because if we didn't get much ball from before that moment, and then he managed to cut through, and he's been awesome since he's come back into the team. But there was one situation where you just take the tackle, man. He got tackled out onto the sideline, and yeah, it was just a couple of instances where they're not defending. They're not able to just they're not able to, anything that happens that goes against them. They're just really reacting very slowly or badly. They seem real fragile, like not tough, man. And I'd rather them win fucking games by 1 point than trying to blow off teams off the park. And just the 3 weeks, it's such a crazy 3 weeks as we've had from for fighting the doggies 3 weeks ago to really two bad losses against some teams where expected to win. So I don't know. Last week I said, it's not really panic stations yet, but this week against St. George, if they don't get it done, then it's definitely panic stations. But there's enough experience and there's enough quality in the team for them to get out of this little mini, I don't know, a little setback they had these last couple of weeks. But like as you know, in the NRL, man, the more losses you get, the confidence can really fucking start acting like a bit of a virus, eh? So hopefully the boys can come and pull through.
Bobby, you see much of that minor setback slide?
The slide happened last year when Reynolds got injured, and then Carrigan stepped up into the captain role, and then at the time I don't think he was really able to lead the Broncos out of that slump. It's different this year because they've still got Reynolds there, so I think the potential for them to arrest the slide from happening, is quite high. They've got Reynolds, who's super experienced. He's able to use that experience to get them out of tight situations. And, we always talk about the Warriors needing to win these really close games that they've lost in the past. I think the stat they talked about was that 7 games last year, the Warriors lost by 6 or less points. And this year we're tracking similarly to the same number of games being decided by that much, but we're now winning them. We're on the other side of the ledger now. I think with the Broncos, same sort of situation with them. They've got to be able to grind out these wins against these teams that are going to be fighting to make the top 8, and they're going to clog up that 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 down to maybe 13, 14 spots on the ladder. And the Broncos need to try and win those games to stay right the hell out of that sort of, it's going to be a completely minefield sort of, for those sorts of teams to try and get out of there. And I thought last year was going to be competitive, and it was, this year is probably going to be more competitive than it was last year. But, the Broncos have got the team in the squad, the personnel. They've got Mam coming in this weekend against the Dragons, and he played apparently really, really well in the Q Cup last week. So he adds a different element, a different dynamic to the Broncos attack. And should Reece Walsh come back into the squad, we've seen what Mam and Walsh can do together. Like, those two players complement each other really well. I think Reece Walsh has struggled with trying to get that combination right with Ben Hunt this year. You know, you've got an old head, plays a bit more mature, plays a bit slower. Reece Walsh hasn't been able to gel very well with that. Cobbo has, but not Reece Walsh. So I think when Mann comes back, and then with Reece Walsh coming back from injury in the future, Broncos will do pretty well, I reckon. You know, they've got a good opportunity to show this weekend against the Dragons, who the Warriors only just got past last week. You know, that wasn't an easy game for us to win. It won't be an easy game for the Broncos either, but they've got an uphill battle to try and arrest that slide after, like what Si was saying, 2 really poor losses after beating the first place Bulldogs a few weeks back. So, you know, they've got the personnel to do it. They just need to do it out in the field.
Yeah. It was a hard game to watch. Like Si said, like, I don't think many picked the Rabbitohs to get up. So it was hard to tell if the Rabbitohs were up or just the Broncos, just dipping, like, after points, just that Reynolds, just a dumb kick, like just 7 tackle. I think he tried to measure it, and it doesn't matter if it's at home at Suncorp or at the Rabbits. He should know both grounds. It's just those little things, you know, you expect from Reynolds, just like professionalism. I don't know if it's dropping off or... But these are the games that usually count because, like Bob was saying, like these close games, especially coming into Origin, they lose a lot of players. But on the flip side, like to Bob's point, I don't think Reece Walsh will get in the 20-man. And Mam returning kind of saves them through this period where they typically would drop some games. So they might have mind you, they lose a lot of forwards. So yeah, they might go back to the under-20s team during this period as well. But yeah, I guess there has been some important games that the Broncos have won, as much as they've had a few losses. You know, the important ones they have lost have been to a lot of the harder teams. So a long comp, but still a lot of question marks, like what's actually happening there. But I think a lot of props to the Rabbits as well. Like Latrell played out of his skin, like that effort, like you talk about, Bob. I was saying the other week, like Fafita needs to do more, and then you said like he's not that kind of player like Latrell. So that's the difference, say, like just the effort, because Latrell's meters were only like 100 something. He had 18 hit ups, but you just see like in the game itself. So the numbers, like the stats don't put the world on fire, but then you see what he was doing throughout the game, you know, just those tackles, that save against Binga, and then the drop goal. These are the kind of differences, you know, just that effort. So yeah, he doesn't set the world on fire when you look at the stats, but if you watch the game, you know the difference between a Latrell that's trying and a Latrell going through the motions. So yeah. Of course, it's this time of the year that he fucking decides that he wants to be the man again. So he's obviously someone's there. Hey, so there's Origin a couple of weeks. We're going to name the teams next week. So, of course, this guy's going to play like that. So probably another back-to-back for him. And very much going to make a headache for Laurie Daly off the back of that game. All right, let's head over to the Waz and the Dragons. Such a real good game. A real, like we said, you know, we kind of looked at the ledger, and like you said, Bob, all these hard games, these are the ones we really want to kind of get onto because they're important. Like, traditionally, like even Si, you picked it last week. These are the ones where everyone, you know, the traditional Warriors fans and everyone who kind of expects them to, they're on this run, and the Dragons have been on a slump, so they're going to be up for it. And all the teams, you know, when they've been on a slump and they see the Warriors, that's kind of one of those games they target because we are one of those middle of the table, just got to grind. And if you work hard enough, you'll beat the Warriors eventually. And especially the weekend we had where all the decisions, you know, it was pretty much a game of two halves, you know, teams leading by heaps and then coming back to lose, you know, getting no points at all. Just clutch, like that Metcalf. Man, just watching the replays, like no one, like that's the thing, like the way the game was going, and just his own. I watched the press conference, and even Webster. You know, that's kind of a decision the player makes. You know, they don't send that down and kind of go, the next play we're going to hit this. And so that's very much him making that call. And so you see it like on that last play, he's looking around to make a play. They take the tackle middle of the field. He quickly just takes a look. And so when he goes to his drop goal, he's even just doing a fake look, but he knows he's going for it. So he kind of decided there and then. And then after that, the next, for the kickoff, that's when they're commentating about him taking the pickle juice. So obviously he's feeling the game and going, shit, I'm going to cramp up. So he knows like everyone's stuff, like let's do this now and then just finish out the game. So yeah, just clutch, just maturity, just seeing those kind of things out of him is just cool because there's still no real hype. Like he's just going through the motions, doing what he needs to do as a half leading this team. Yeah, and just seems real mature. Just the way he's going about his work. So, and that's the thing. Again, people kind of, the Dragons were down, but this is a Dragons team that's beaten the Storm, beaten Manly. So that's the thing. They've got guns. Like you look across their field, when they get it together, they're a team. And what they started doing in that second half was the team that everyone's like, oh shit, the Dragons are on and bye-bye Warriors. And I think that's where everyone was just waiting like, oh, here we go. There's the usual Warriors. Because that was the weekend for every team. So real important in the theme of where all the clubs are, and especially just our young half doing that so early in the game, feeling the game where it was at. Up the wires, Bobby. Actually, I'll go to you first. So we'll finish on a nice note. So I'll come to Bob last, but let's break down your stats, mate. I know you. I came to give the Warriors their flowers, their deserved flowers, but it's pull them down, mate. Tall poppies.
Well, that was a good win because I thought maybe last year or a couple of years ago they'd lose that game, but it was a bit concerning second half to allow Dragons to come back like that. They won a game they should have won, and but I want to comment on more of the draw they've had. It's quite interesting, man. Like they don't really, if you look at the teams above in the top four, they don't really get to match up with too many of those teams. I think you get the Raiders again in a couple of weeks. Got the Dolphins coming up, which is a dangerous one. But my point is,
they're only top four because we haven't played them. They would have been down in the bottom 8 like everyone else.
Oh, calm down. Allow me to finish my point. Is that we really haven't seen them tested, but it's good that they're winning these games. That
exactly.
That these teams that are not really premiership contenders, if you were to be respectful, but I think they've only really played two teams that you could say at the moment are premiership contenders, and they've lost their game. They got fighted by the Storm, and you guys lost the first game to the Raiders, which was kind of we didn't really round one. That was a bit of a hard one to assess because we didn't really no one really picked the Raiders were going to come out this year like as the Raiders that we see them now. I think every other team it's kind of been just all right, man. They beat a Broncos team where at the time was top 4, but made it very hard for themselves. But I think that was the turning point that kind of gave them the confidence to go on. But beat the Knights, like I said, beat the Dragons last week, beat the Tigers, beat the Roosters, beat the Seagulls. So let's just calm Lalo a little bit with the Warriors. We really haven't seen them really tested to say like fucking up. They've been fucking awesome with the surprise packages, but not enough for me to say premiership contenders yet, man. Because the two teams that you guys played in the top 4, you guys both lost. So I think the Sharks game coming up and the Raiders game in 2 weeks. And there's the Sharks game. So you got the Dolphins at Suncorp, and Dolphins are fucking flying high. So I'll be really impressed they can get over the Dolphins at the moment. Dolphins are fucking awesome. And then the Raiders after that, Rabbitohs expected to win, and then the Sharks. So I think out of those games, if they can get a win over the Sharks and a win over the Raiders and not lose to the Dolphins and the Rabbitohs in the meantime, man, in 4 weeks' time, I will say, yep, fucking buy the GF tickets. They're premiership contenders. But like I said, it's a little bit early for Warriors fans to really honestly say that they're kind of right up there. But hey, enjoy the wins, enjoy the position of the ladder, because it's guy, mate, guy.
Exactly, mate. Only second, third of the competition, so long way to go. Nice, and we are heading into our Origin predictions. So yes, 2 weeks out, we're nearly there. Before we go into the preview of next week, let's jump into our fantasy Ice Kalava Cup. Let's see how our teams did. I had the pleasure of going up against. Had you, Bobby?
No,
I had an easy game this week. Yeah, I got dusted by Bob the week before. That's right. I had a nice easy one. I had Clutch City going in clutch, allowing me to get the win. Man, and that was the first week I thought Clutch City was actually going to win a game, but unfortunately, one of your players was out also. Yeah, Clutch City going down 6-31 to me. But yeah, Bronx, you missed out against Stace. You already shared you failed on your coaching there. You forgot to go change your players out. You changed them out now. He's still suspended.
Oh yeah, good call. I better get on that. Yeah, I've been pretty poor, man. But Stace has been killing it. Well, some of his players been fucking ripping up, eh?
Yeah, first time he didn't make the 800 club, so he kept them intact. Bobby went down just to All Madden. That was a close one. What happened there? You one of your players got by. You get another -2 or something.
Taruva was my dud of the round. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened with that one. It was the last game to decide it because he had one Shark player and I had 3. And my Sharks players were Gorpai. But I've got a trade on the table because you're leaving points on the bench, bro.
Who's that for me?
That's for you.
I'll have a look.
You got 2 hookers. You only use one every week.
Oh yeah. I just wanted to. We'll have a look at that. Yeah, I've been waiting for Sai to give me Dylan Brown. He's doing the same, leaving Dylan Brown points on the. Oh, just trade. Man.
I'll be using him now because they dropped Clifford. Clifford's been dropped from the Cowboys.
God Squad taking out Nacho at first place and also Samoan Mandingo. Ooh, coming with a late run, but then again, it's only over Ultimate Manly. The Salah Dwala down there with Clutch City. The 2 Manly boys down the bottom, 9th and 10th, don't even make the cut. Rounding out the 6 this year or next, still up the top. Nacho slipping to 2. God Squad, All Madden, these nuts, and Samoan Mandingo moving up into the 6th. Bob slipping out. Should be some good matchups next week. Speaking of next week's matchups, let's go straight into our preview, boys. All right. Game 1. What do you guys got for this? This is a wooden spoon. This is definitely the spoon bowl. Knights versus the Eels. Bobby, you go for this one.
It's a coin toss for these guys. I mean, they've both been playing terrible this year. They're bottom 5 teams. Eels is coming last at the moment with the Panthers now getting themselves up off the bottom of the table. It's a coin toss for me. Knights, because I think I like Knights better than the Eels.
So you got any more science to your pick?
I'm going to go with the Eels, bro. I actually think the Eels been playing better footy lately, even though they haven't been getting the wins. Lomax back in as well. And, yeah, bro, if you talk about slides, Bobby likes to talk about slides. Fucking the Knights are on a big one at the moment, man.
Yeah.
And even though it's at Newcastle, bro, I haven't. It's got to be a miracle. Just the type of football they're playing. There's not much confidence in the team. Yeah, bro. And then Sharp and Cogger. It's another, it's another fucking combination number 52 for the last 2 years and a half. So yeah, bro, Eels for me.
I agree. Those Knights, like, they're just, definitely on a slide. And I don't know what's happening there. Adam O'Brien's like that guy at work who's like, everyone knows he's Gaia, but he's still there. Like, how is this guy still working here? Like, why is he here? He should have been gone 5 years ago, but he's still here. Like, every year
So
he gets
he might be
saved because they've
the
been making the 8. Somehow they still scrape into the 8 because Ponga flips the switch and goes, I'm going to drag this team into the 8. That's the only thing that's saving this guy.
Brian's going to be the first coach of 2025 to be sacked, man.
Surely, if he lives to see another season, he is a magician. Dogs and Roosters, this should be a good matchup. The Roosters are looking good. Some of those boys, they've had a rest. Mark Niua, I'm going to get this right by the end of the season. Nawanga Nitawase. He's looking good. Rabbitoh, they're looking awesome. So this should be a good
That was
matchup.
good, bro.
The Roosters are coming back up. But the Doggies, man, showed their class in that second half. Gonna be big. We're probably gonna lose Critter, so I think they really want to go out with a big one this week because they might lose some more players than they thought to Origin. Bobby,
Yeah, this will be a good test for the Doggies because the Roosters have been playing all right. It's first versus ninth, but you can never really write the Roosters off, even with the way that they've been playing this season and where they sit on the ladder. You've got quality players on both sides going head to head. Teddy, he's wanting to play his way back into his Origins jersey, and you can never really write off guys like Tupou. I know he's out of the Origin sort of conversation, but that combination of Toya and Nawanga Nitawase on is it the left or right edge? Can't remember. Those guys are coming right. Like, I know Robert was talking about him wanting to develop that combination, and it seems to be working really well for him because those guys they're coming up, man, and their halves combination, Chad Townsend sort of dropped out of favour, and Hugo Savala's been doing the job for the Roosters. So this is going to be a good battle. I mean, it's definitely going to be one of the games of the round for me. But I can't write off the fact that the Doggies came back from being 20 points down against the Raiders, who were travelling really well. And then they just came right back and pulled the pants down on the Raiders last weekend. So I'm going to tip the Doggies in a really, really close one against the Roosters.
So that's a real good
So
matchup.
I'm going to go with an upset here. I'm going to pick the Roosters. I think the only few times the Doggies have been vulnerable when they come up against like a really big mobile pack. And man, every time I look at this team list, the Roosters, man, they should be higher than where they are on the ladder. And with the inclusion of Lindsay Collins as well, I don't know, bro. I think I feel like an upset. I'm going to go the Roosters in a close one.
Ooh, yeah. Just looking at the way the Doggies are playing, but then you look at that roster again, the Roosters. They're starting to get it together, so I'm actually gonna follow and go with upset as well. Finn's Warriors at Suncorp, like Sai said, this should be a real big one, big test for the Warriors as well. Sai, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, hard one to pick. What they got? Warriors favorites, not by much. But I think the form and the inclusion of Fish is fucking gonna be huge. So yeah, I'm gonna pick the Warriors, bro, in the close one, 6 and under.
Nice. Bobby.
Warriors all day. It will be a tight game, so I'm going to pick them as well. Same aside, like bringing Fisher Harris back. There've been lots of talk by the Australian media about how even though James Fisher Harris hasn't been playing, his presence there and his professionalism, he's really just sort of lifted the standards, and you can tell that he's had an impact, especially with those young PI forwards like Leko's now starting. You got Dimitrik, who's he's Jacob Laban. All of these guys are the beneficiaries now, having quality professionals like Fisher Harris in the team. And you've got guys like Mitch Barnett, who's also a quality forward. He's a New South Wales Origin prop. You've got guys who've been there, done that, guys who were part of the junior system coming up, Marata, Aaron Clark, and they playing in their development years at the Warriors, left, plied their trade in other clubs, have come back, and they've really brought that experience back into the Warriors squad, and especially in the forwards. So I'm picking that our forwards are going to pile the points on top of those Dolphins forwards, and it's going to be a Warriors win. It will be close, but I'm still picking the boys over the Dolphins.
Yes, Bobby. Yeah, like Si said, this is going to be a real test, man. The Dolphins have, still new to the competition, and become a force. Like, that's the thing. Like, this should have been a game where you would have thought, this should be like a Tigers game or a Knights Eels. But man, that's the way the competition's going. And then you look at the way Isaiah Couture's been playing. That's going to be an awesome matchup. These just two young halves who are keen to just run it. Both running halves as well. They've got a kicking game. They've got a whole bag of tricks. Yeah, I reckon game of the weekend, and I'll go Warriors as well for this one. Cowboys Manly. Manly coming back off another loss. Cowboys getting that controversial draw against the Panthers. But the Cowboys are on the up, so I went Cowboys on this. Bobby, how'd you see this one going?
Yeah, I'm probably going to pick the Cowboys on this too. Their game against the Panthers showed that they're a club that's able to sort of match it with the Panthers. And I know everyone was probably expecting the Panthers to win that game, but the Cowboys were able to sort of stick it with them. I don't know, they got too many underdone guys at Manly, I feel, like guys that are just coming in off injuries. Their combos haven't really sort of clicked. They were really sloppy last week. There was a lot of that game that they played last week. There were a lot of like drop balls, and it was a terrible game to watch. It was just like error after error. Yeah, I'm going to pick the Cowboys for mine in a close game, close win over the Seagulls.
Good to see them get a quarterback again.
Yeah, bro. I'm going to go with the Cowboys who were fucking unlucky last week not to get the 2 points over the Panthers. But they're just slowly getting back to the the fucking attacking team that they are, bro. So yeah, I'm gonna pick the Cowboys in a close one as well.
Storm Sharks. Storm obliterating the Tigers. Sharks looking okay. Nico seems to be coming about right. But I'm going Storm. Bobby?
Ooh. Yeah, I'm going Storm for this one too. Even though the Sharks beat Manly last week, that was the game where it was a lot of errors. The Sharks and Manly, it was a terrible spectacle to watch. And even though Sharks got the win in the end, it just wasn't convincing. Like they beat them convincingly in the end, but the way they came about it was, I wasn't convinced by that victory, and I don't think they're going to have the team to beat the Storm this weekend. So, Storm, this is probably going to be a big score for the Storm, I think.
Sorry?
Cool. Great. I think the Sharks really get up against the Storm. If not win every game, but they fucking make it tough. But yeah, I agree with you, Bob. Like, they were very unconvincing in that win last week against Manly. But being at Shark Park, I'm going to go for another upset, bro. I'm going to go Sharks in this one. I think if anything, they've got the power up front to match it, if not dominate against the Storm. And if they can do that, bro, Trindle and Hines, they got enough points in them to pile on some points. So yeah, bro. I don't know, but what? Give it a nudge. See if the Sharks from a few years back can turn up. See how we go.
This guy. All right, since we're doing those kind of picks, your Broncos and Dragons, mate. With some other reasoning.
Sunday afternoon in Suncorp, it's always a good time to go watch. Might take the fans.
Yeah, you should get down there, man.
I'm excited to see Ezra Man. yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So he did all right in the Q Cup.
He killed it. He killed it. And I saw a bit of footage, bro. Fucking scored. Set up a few tries. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a bounce back. From the Broncos to really put away the Dragons.
Broncos. Put away the Dragons.
Yeah, if they can't do it at home on a Sunday afternoon against Dragons, who haven't really, I don't think they've been very consistent
out of the Premiership,
this year.
No chance. No chance. You got to pull the plug.
Exactly. So, if fucking if the Broncos lose, man, I will not come on this Pukalama ever again this year.
I was going to say that we need you to come and carry the show so we can all laugh. But
I'll just go on.
Bobby, the Dragons will be highly disappointed after last weekend, so this should be a good matchup.
Yeah, you know what? Again, this is one of those games that
here we go.
On paper, the Broncos should. No, I'm serious. The Broncos should just fully that field with the Dragons. Like honestly, when you look on paper, the Broncos have just got too much class. Like there are some names in that Dragons team, but come on, these guys they're a bit long in the tooth. You got Clemmer, Damien Cook hasn't been really playing that well. The Bellin, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I haven't been really convinced by any of the combinations at the Dragons. I know Gutho's, picked up like a new following there at St. George. You see the King Gutho signs in the home crowds, and I'm like, oh, really? But nothing about St. George has convinced me that they're a team that's gonna go deep into the competition. Are the Broncos, are they going to be good enough to, hold out that second half sort of comeback, which happened last week against the Warriors? I think they've got the team to do it. Again, it's that intent, they really need to show up with that intention of just being this freaking Broncos tsunami and just drowning the Dragons in the game this weekend. And if they come with the right intent, guys are going to be wanting to play for Origin spots. They want to, reward Billy Slater and make sure that they're going to get into these Origin teams. And so I feel like the Broncos should win this game. And to be honest, they should win it convincingly because they had a terrible game against Souths. And I think guys will be getting their asses roasted this week at training. And yeah, guys will be looking in the mirror and saying, we need to perform better than we did last week against the Bunnies. And so I reckon the Broncos will win this one.
It's Bobby. Yeah, this is a real good game. A lot of probably a similar mix. Like you've got some real, you say season, but you look Selwyn's still so young. Yeah, you put him up against Gutho and you go, yep, probably like for like. Then you got these younger guys like Mariner and Sloan going up against each other, Corey Allen coming back into things, and Jetty Arthurs. So some real good matchups, Katoni and Valentine. I think, the halves is the difference. Like, it'll be awesome to see Ezra back on the park. Again, he's done his time, so hopefully, like you said, Bob, there's a high bar, so he has to bring it as well. Like, to make people forget about all the off-field stuff, you got to be the man on-field. Otherwise, it's like, if you're called by on-field, can't be called by off-field. I think that'll be the difference. Like I said, like Kyle Flanagan was my Kayakele. Like, he's got a lot. He's been named again. King Tonga stepped up. I forgot to rap the big kid, Pacifica Tonga. His family all turned out for him. That was pretty cool seeing kid on debut, 19-year-old. He's a beast. So those will be some pretty good matchups as well. Yeah. a lot of big humans in this game as well. You got Xavier Willison, Pacifica Tonga. So I don't know if you guys are going to pull out your big, what's his name? Karapani. Might go try and bring out another big bopper as well. Shucks. Yeah, both teams coming off unexpected losses like that. I think both teams really wanted to get up last week. I think Broncos will be hurting more, and at home, I think they'll bring it. So I agree with you, Bob. I think it'll be a win, and a convincing one for their fans at home as well. So I'll go Broncos 13 plus as well. Raiders Titans. Titans getting up last week with that strong come home at the end against the Knights, up against the Raiders, who were run down by the Doggies. So yeah, I think the Raiders at home again will be keen to make it up to their fans, especially the way they look like they were in a mood. That first half, I thought the Raiders were going to go on with it. Like against the Dogs, it just looked like, oh, well, the Dogs have been found out again. But, man, they brought it. So I think the Raiders are going to be hurting from the way they lost that as well. So I'll go Raiders in this one. Bobby?
Yeah, I agree with you. Man, the Raiders at home, they've got a game where they need to sort of show their fans really to pay them back for their loyalty and, you know, coming to support them. Last week was terrible. It was really one of those. That was literally a game of two halves. First half was all Raiders, and then I don't know what the heck it was Sticky said to them, but they came out and just had no answer to that Bulldogs onslaught. So I'm going to go with you there, Tons, and agree that the Raiders are going to win this one. It might be close. It might not be close, depending on which Titans team turns up. Last week, Des thought that they were going to lose to the Knights, and if you saw that footage of him at the end of the game where he had that like, bewildered look on his face, thinking, you know what, 10 minutes ago I thought we were going to lose, and then for some reason we ended up pulling victory out of the jaws of defeat against Newcastle, and they won that game. That's not going to happen this week. The Raiders will be smarting from that loss, and they're going to want to make that up. So I'm going to pick the Raiders for this game.
Nice, Si.
Yeah, same. I'm going to pick the Raiders as well. I'm looking forward to seeing Foreign come out though. His name on the interchange bench. I actually might think he might start, and we might see the group maybe go to the bench and bring some fullback. I don't know. But even with the inclusion of Foreign, I just think last week was more a case of fucking Knights just that guy to allow Titans to come back. I just don't think Titans really hit their straps yet. And the fact that the Raiders let that fucking big lead slip and lost to the Doggies last week, they'll be hurting. So they're going to come out strong, and I think it might be ugly for the Titans, bro. Like fucking 20 plus points or something.
Ooh, nice. All right, rounding it out, Tigers and the Rabbits. Rabbits heading into Origin again against the Tigers. We're definitely hurting. I don't know, maybe a few names out of there from the Tigers probably going to prove a point. Last game before the teams are named, so last ditch effort. I don't know if Uppy's played enough to shake his way into the team to get a look in. Luai, like you mentioned, Si, should be in there, but who knows? But yeah, Latrell's going to be kind of putting his hand up. Campbell Graham, fallen out of conversation. He's healthy again, hasn't had enough game time. I'm going Rabbits after what I saw from the Tigers. Bobby?
Yeah, I'm probably going to go Tigers with this one. Purely because I reckon Latrell's going to do one of those ones. You'll have one amazing game this weekend, and then the following week he's full of rocks. And he's going to do what Stacey says. He's a bit lazy, you know. You coming in and out of games, he's probably reading the hype. It's all in his head. And, you know, and then last year he did that thing where he was like, oh, you know, I'm going to make myself unavailable for New South because I want to concentrate on South and I want to get back to the team and blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as the man had like a couple of good games and then heard a few whispers that he might be in the conversation. Next minute, he was gone, and he was
I'm
like,
available.
"Yeah, I'm available now. Pick me." I was like, so he's a bit floppy like that. So same with his form. Like it'd be good to see him be consistent and have another play out of his skins game like he did against the Broncos, but I can't see it, man. I haven't been convinced by Latrell so far this season. Like, he's come in and out. He's played at fullbacks, played at half. He hasn't really sort of had any sort of consistent games from fullback. Yeah, I just don't see it. I'm not convinced by Latrell. I know Caleb's probably asleep now, but sorry, man, I'm not convinced. They had some good news in the week. They've signed old Cheese, and he'll be starting probably soon. That'll boost their stocks because they'll have a genuine sort of threat in the middle if he can be healthy and stay off the cheeseburgers. But for me, I'm picking the Tigers to bounce back. I don't think Benji's gonna, want them to come back and smash the Bunnies. He just wants them to go out and play way better defensive football than they did against the Storm. They've got like a whole 80 minutes of video footage of them to go and watch some video sessions to see what it was that they did wrong, and they did a shitload wrong last week. And they'll be better for that experience. And so I'm going to pick the Tigers in a close one over the Bunnies.
Sorry,
Bro, if I was Benji, I would not even review last week's game against the Storm, bro. I was just gongi that in the lap.
Burn that video. Do not.
But I'm actually gonna go with Bobby and pick the Tigers here.
Ooh.
Yeah, just for bounce back, and it's at Campbelltown on a Sunday afternoon. Oh, so 6:15 actually, Sunday evening. So yeah, and both both teams are kind of pretty evenly matched when it comes to the punting. Rabbitohs just slight favourites, $1.90. West Tigers $1.94, but yeah, I think there's too many good players in their Tigers to have fucking two bad performances. I think maybe Rabbitohs are still on their way up, but I'm still not really a complete team yet. Yeah, so yeah, Tigers for me also.
Nice, boys. All right, let's wrap it out with a quick multi. I'll kick us off, and I'll go Eels 13 plus with a Josh Shadow card. All right, we already got $5 on our multi, guys. Let's multiply it. What you got, Bobby?
Let's see. I'm going to go for a Papenhausen double and Storm to win by 13 plus.
Safe. It's about a $4.60 bet. So what you got?
I'm going to go Dolphins win. And Herbie to score anytime. And Hammer to score anytime.
Like that. I would have gone Warriors, but I like the Herbie Hammer anytime. Nice. Short Usos, as always, everyone, gamble responsibly. Any last words? So.
Oh, oops, I forgot to mention last week, but I just want to give some kakalos out there to my old Liston and Holy Cross, also Adam Frost had a heart attack a few weeks back. So yeah, just all of us to his family, and
shucks,
hope he pulls through, man. Love yous.
Love out to the Frost family. Man, that's shocking. Young boy too. Prayers out to the family. Nice. Bobby, Dub City. Any last words, bro?
Yeah. Toitu Te Tiriti. Māori Party MPs are getting suspended for that haka that they pulled earlier in the year, or last year. So they're going to get penalised and suspended over that haka. So I'm going to be like, what? Tell me your reasons without telling me your reasons.
There's freedom.
I don't know we're a league channel here, but this is ridiculous. Anyway,
exactly.
Yeah.
We're behind you guys. Yeah, that's a bit of a random one. Nice, Bobby. Good call out. Thank you all. Thanks for tuning in. As always, you can go check us out on all social media platforms, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next week. Off take. Pa.
So